Ever feel like putting together a really good work schedule,
Yeah.
one that actually works, is like, I don't know, some kind of impossible
Oh,
puzzle.
tell me about it. It's a struggle for a lot of businesses, that's for sure.
Right. You're always trying to find that balance between like overscheduling and blowing your budget or going the other way and underscheduling, and boom, you've got a team of totally overworked employees and customers breathing down your neck.
Yeah, and honestly, traditional ways of doing things can only get you so far, you know?
Exactly. That's kind of what got me so interested in this whole world of like using AI to make things better. We've got a whole bunch of really interesting stuff from this company, Workofo. They're all about using AI to like completely change how businesses figure out their staff schedules.
Interesting.
Yeah, so at first, I heard about it. I have to admit, I pictured like those old-timey punch clocks getting swapped out for robots and stuff.
Yeah, I can see that.
But seriously, when you look at what they're doing, the potential is huge.
Yeah.
You know, the materials they sent over say that, get this, their AI can actually help businesses save something like 5 to 15% of their employee hours just
Wow.
by making the schedule smarter. It's like finding hidden cash in your couch cushions.
It really is. It's like a free efficiency boost.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, it's not even about just cutting hours. It's about looking at everything that a business needs, all those little factors, and then creating a schedule that actually works.
Okay, so let's break this down a bit. What makes Workofo different? Like, what makes it more than just another scheduling app?
Well, for starters, the amount of detail their AI looks at is pretty amazing. We're talking over 80 different things it takes into account. Stuff you'd expect, of course, like all the legal stuff, labor laws, union rules.
Right.
But then they go way beyond that, bringing in things like, get this, sales trends, even the weather
Wait,
forecast.
hold on. The weather. Really? How does that even factor into employee schedules?
Because it's all connected. Think about it. If you can predict how customer behavior will change because of the weather, you can adjust for it. Most managers don't have time to figure all that out, though, you know?
Right.
So, like, a sudden downpour might mean a ton of people ordering takeout instead of going out to eat or run on umbrellas at a department store. Workafo can actually, like, anticipate those kinds of shifts in what customers are doing and then adjust the staff accordingly.
So it's almost like having a crystal ball, like, magically knowing what customer demand is going to look like before it even happens.
Pretty much.
And what about the employees themselves? Does Workofo actually look at, like, each employee's individual skills and stuff? Like if they prefer mornings or evenings when they're available?
Absolutely, and that's a huge part of what makes it different. Instead of just treating all employees as if they were, completely interchangeable, Workafo considers their skills, if they need specific certifications for a certain task, even what shifts they prefer to work. Like, if one of your employees is a certified, I don't know, barista, Workofo is going to make sure they're scheduled during peak coffee hours, when you need that expertise the most. Or if somebody prefers evening shifts because they're taking a night class or something, Workofo can make sure that happens too. It's all about maximizing how efficient your workforce is, but also keeping your employees happy, which, let's face it, can sometimes feel like you're juggling chainsaws.
That's what I mean by a smarter schedule. You're not just filling in the blanks, you're actually optimizing those time slots to make sure you've got the right people in the right place at the right time. And speaking of optimizing, Workofo's got some pretty compelling case studies. Want to take a look?
Let's do it. Okay, so picture this. You're running a coffee shop, right? And it's like go, go, go all day long. You've got the morning rush. Everybody's got to have their caffeine fix. Then it's the lunch crowd, maybe a little bit of a break in the afternoon. Then bam, it's all the after work people wanting their lattes and cappuccinos.
I can see it now.
It's a real challenge, making sure you've got enough staff on hand at any given moment. It's like a nonstop game of Tetris, trying to fit everybody into the right spots at the right time.
And then if you get it wrong, forget about it. Either you're paying people to stand around or your customers are walking out.
Exactly. So Workofo, they actually worked with this big, I'm talking huge, international coffee shop chain, multiple locations, the whole 9 yards. They were dealing with, you guessed it, all that fluctuating demand, staffing levels all over the place, managers pulling their hair out, the whole deal.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So what happened? Did Workofo actually, like, solve the coffee shop scheduling problem?
They did. Okay, so they got in there, started analyzing all the data, the sales numbers from different times of the day, days of the week, all of that, employee availability, and, this is key, they looked at weather patterns.
There's that weather thing again.
Told ya. Because, come on, a rainy Tuesday is totally different than a sunny Saturday, right?
True.
And guess what they found? By using Workofo's AI to build their schedules, they were able to cut back on, get this, 7.3% of wasted employee hours.
7.3, that doesn't sound like a 10.
It's a good start, but here's the thing, right? We're talking about a whole chain of coffee shops here, multiple locations, probably thousands of employees. That 7.3% probably translates to some serious savings.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
But were they actually able to make everyone's lives easier, or was it just about, like, making the numbers look better on a spreadsheet?
both. It's about working smarter, not harder, right? It wasn't just about cutting those hours. It was about using them more strategically, making sure those barista superstars were scheduled exactly when they were needed most.
So less about just using a smaller staff overall and more about, like, shifting the hours around to better fit the actual demand.
You got it. So instead of having 3 baristas on a slow Tuesday afternoon when you only really need 2, Workofo would say, hey, let's take those extra hours and add them to Friday night when you're slammed.
Smart.
Right. And the results kind of speak for themselves. By simply moving those hours around, the coffee chain saw a 3.6% jump in both customer service scores and employee efficiency.
So everybody wins.
Exactly. Happier customers, happier employees, more efficient business. It's a win-win-win. Now, are you ready to switch gears a bit? Let's move from coffee beans to, I don't know, hammers and nails.
Ooh, construction zone. I like it. I'm
Yeah.
guessing the scheduling challenges are a little different when you're talking about home improvement and DIY.
Totally different ballgame. Think about it. You've got a huge store, tons of different departments, seasonal products, people coming in with all sorts of crazy projects.
I probably no idea what they're doing half the time.
Exactly. So Workofo, they partnered with this DIY chain. They've got locations in like a bunch of different countries, which means dealing with all kinds of different local regulations on top of everything else.
Oh, I bet. Like holiday schedules and all that.
Oh, yeah, and then you throw in those seasonal swings in demand. You know, everyone and their mother needs a snow shovel in December.
And a barbecue grill in July.
You got it.
Yeah.
So anyway, their big problem was keeping those schedules consistent and making sure all their stores were properly staffed no matter where they were in the world.
That sounds complicated.
It was. Some stores had way too many employees, while others were totally slammed, and the customers were definitely feeling it. Not a good look for business.
Okay, so what did they do? How did Workofo tackle that one?
Data, data, data. They dug into absolutely everything, the sales numbers for every single store, employee availability, you name it. They looked at it. But get this, they even factored in things like local holidays for each location, so nobody's getting scheduled to work on a day when the whole country's off celebrating. Right, and hold on, because this is the really impressive part. By using Workofo's AI to build these super smart schedules, the DIY chain ended up saving a whopping 11% of their total employee hours. We're talking almost 28,000 hours saved each month across all 43 of their stores.
Wait, 28,000 hours? That's like more hours than there are in a year. How is that even possible?
I know, right? It just goes to show you how much time and money can be wasted when you're not scheduling effectively. Okay, so we've seen how AI can work in a retail environment, right? Coffee shops, DIY stores, all that. But what about something with even more moving parts?
More moving parts. Like what?
Like, I don't know, airports.
Airports. Oh, man. Now that's what I call a scheduling nightmare.
No kidding.
You've got flights taking off and landing at all hours, baggage handlers running around like crazy, those security lines that never seem to end.
And you can't exactly tell a plane full of people to just like hang tight while you find a couple more baggage handlers.
No, definitely not.
It's a high-pressure environment for sure. Even a tiny delay can snowball into a huge mess. But this is where I think Workofo's approach really shines, because it's not just about throwing more people at the problem, it's about using the people you have in the smartest way possible.
Okay, so walk me through this. We're talking about the folks who, like, get all the luggage off the plane and onto those baggage carousels, right?
Exactly, the ground handling crew. They partnered up with a company at a major European airport. I'm talking hundreds of flights a day, thousands of passengers. The works and things were, well, let's just say they were definitely not running smoothly.
I bet. What was the biggest issue? Like, what was making it so hard to get those schedules right?
Oh man, where do I even start? You name it, they were dealing with it. Last-minute flight changes, different airlines having their own specific ways of doing things, even language barriers between some of the staff.
Wow, that sounds, I'm getting stressed out just thinking about it.
And on top of all that, you've got this constant pressure to keep everything moving on time. One little hiccup, and it's a domino effect.
So how do they even begin to tackle that? I
Yeah.
feel like I'd just be tempted to throw up my hands and say, forget it, let's just overschedule everyone and call it a day.
Right. But that's the old way of thinking. Workofo, they're all about using data to find a better way. They took a deep dive into all those scheduling headaches. They looked at all the flight schedules, of course, then cross-referenced those with the employee schedules. They even factored in things like how long it takes to unload different types of aircraft, because the little puddle jumper is a lot different than a jumbo jet,
Yeah,
right?
makes sense. So what happened? Did they actually manage to wrangle those airport schedules into shape?
Oh, they did. Okay, you ready for this? They ended up being able to reallocate, not even cut, but reallocate between 10.6 and 15.2% of the ground handling workforce.
Wow, that's huge.
Right. We're talking potentially.
It's about creating a system that works for everyone, not just the bottom line.
Exactly. And the best part is, it's all based on data. Workafor takes the guesswork out of it. They're constantly analyzing, refining, and optimizing, which means businesses can keep getting better and better over time. Small tweaks, big results.
Wow, well, I've got to say, this has been eye-opening. Who knew that something as seemingly mundane as scheduling could have such a huge impact? We've gone from coffee shops to DIY stores to now airports. And the common thread through all of it is this incredible potential for AI to not just streamline things, but to actually make work better for both the employees and the businesses.
It's about working smarter, not harder, right? And using technology to create a future of work that's more efficient, more fair, and maybe, just maybe, a little less chaotic.
I like the sound of that. And to all our listeners out there, we'll leave you with this. As we keep exploring the amazing things AI can do, it's important to remember that we have a choice in how we use it. Do we use it to simply automate jobs away? Or do we use it to create a better world of work for everyone?
It's a question worth thinking about.